I have a question for you. Why is it that we tend to attract people in our lives that break us down? Why does it happen? Why do we have disappointments in life? Why is it that whenever we try to rise up, we have something else, some other force coming down and taking us out at the knees? This video is about that, and I've had 2 clients in the last 2 days showing up with the same issue, and I needed to explain a principle. So I'm going to put it out to you directly so you can also understand this principle. And if it's at play in your life, it's significantly reducing your personal power, it's significantly reducing your success, it's significantly reducing your ability to move forward. So what is it? It is the times when we step out of ourselves and try to be something we're not. And we can do it, we do it from a very young age, sometimes 3, 4, 5 years old. As early as that, we show up because our parents were unable to deliver on their duties at a specific point in time. And we said, well, we need to cover up for them. We need to fill a gap. We need to do something and grow up because they're not able to handle us, so we need to handle ourselves. So that specific situation makes you grow up before your time or become something you're not. One of the girls I worked with, she's trying to achieve a significantly bigger position than what she's in, and she can't maintain it. She keeps shying down because at school, children would tease her. Now, why were the children teasing her? Children were teasing her because she showed up in a persona. She created a persona showing everything's good. I'm not bothered. I'm more than what I actually am. And the girl that I worked with today had a similar thing. She saw her father's grief and she says, well, my father wants me to be different because he didn't manage to study. He wasn't able to achieve his dream. So he intends for me to achieve his dream. So he put some kind of an unconscious pressure on me, and I wanted to please him because I could feel his grief. So I became something that I'm not. And this is what I want to reveal, that we tend to do that on a deep subconscious level out of loyalty to our parents, out of loyalty to systems outside of ourselves. But when we're loyal to something outside of ourselves, we are disloyal to who we truly are. You're not being who you are when you're trying to be something else. So I'm going to explain the pattern and I'm going to share a little bit about why. Why is it that this happens? So I want you to imagine this, that your true self, who you truly are, has a point of presence. Yeah? This is the point where you are fully present. But sometimes it is required, especially as children or even later, to become something we're not, to show up as someone that we're not, to protect ourselves, to feel safe, whatever the reason. We need to feel in control of a situation. So what happens is we develop a false pride. Now, in order to develop a false pride, we need to step out of who we truly are. So we might go 1, 2, maybe 3 points, maybe even more points outside of who we are. So in this scenario, you're plus 3 points outside of presence, outside of who you truly are. Now, the universe is a mathematical formula. Life is a mathematical formula. In quantum entanglement, we know that when we take a particle and we split it, and there's 2 parts, you're going to have a positively charged particle and a negatively charged particle. And when the one spins in one direction at a certain speed, the other spins in the opposite direction at an equal speed. Okay? So together, they are neutralized. They are neutralizing forces. The one spins at plus 3 in forward rotation. The other spins at minus 3 in a reverse rotation. This is an equalizing force. So there's balance in the universe. When we bring them together, there is wholeness. They fuse together. So with that same principle, the same thing happens when we step out of ourselves and into a false persona. So what happens is, whenever you create a false persona, there needs to be an equilibrium. And that equilibrium is some kind of a shame or a guilt, a neutralizing force to bring balance to this equation. So whenever there's a +3 stepping outside of presence, there needs to be a force equal and opposite. There's a -3. So usually what happens, you start to think guilty, shameful thoughts or thoughts bringing yourself down. You start to self-depreciate yourself, because what you've done here, you've self-appreciated beyond what you think you are, beyond what you know you are, to show up in a world that's not safe, that you need to have control over. So you showed up with false pride. In order to counterbalance that, a natural, reoccurring mental thought will happen, breaking you down. Low self-confidence, low self-esteem. I don't deserve it. You create it. Okay? That's the important thing. People think that someone's attacking you or someone's doing something. You create the counterbalancing force because you've created the false persona. So in this situation, if you don't listen, if you bypass your shame and guilt or your personal breakdown, if you don't allow yourself to break yourself down so you can come back to 0 point, to presence, someone from the outside, an outside force, a vector, will come in and neutralize and be the counterbalancing force so that there is balance in the equation. You can't create one thing without creating an equal and opposite force. So you create a counterbalancing force in your own life. So someone's going to come and break you down. Now, when you notice this happening, it's not that person's fault. You can absolutely neutralize them by neutralizing your pride that you created. You need to come back to presence and identify, why did this pride get initiated in the first place? Why did I create it? What insecurity is here? What am I unsure of about myself? Which areas of my life am I putting myself where I don't feel confident, where I don't feel safe, where I don't feel powerful, where I don't feel strong? Yeah, and usually in the one girl situation, she started to take on roles of the parents, roles of the father, or try to please the father, the other situation. I need to please my father and become something I'm not so he feels happy. So you create a persona outside of yourself. And because you develop this false persona, you start to create self-deprecating thoughts, low self-confidence, low self-esteem, shame, guilt, because you're not who you really are. So we discovered some beautiful things with one of these girls. We discovered that his natural gift, this father's natural gift, was not him trying to be like his sister, studious, etc. Her father was an adventurer and he had an adventurous spirit, but he was trying to do something he's not. And as a result of that, he was carrying grief that he couldn't fully fulfill on his tasks. He was trying to fit in to a mold of what society says he should, instead of being himself, being this adventurous spirit and exploring the world. So he reduced himself and he carried grief, and his daughter picked up the grief and she says, well, father is grief. I need to do what he can't do, what he's unable to do. And that's what she attempted to do. But then she's unhappy in her life. She can't attract relationships in her life that are that honor her for who she is. She's constantly struggling. So the cause, the consequence of being something you're not is you're attracting things that are not for you. On both sides, you'll attract someone that sees this instead of someone that sees who you truly are. You'll also attract people that reflect that or push you down in a way instead of recognizing who you truly are. So the moment you neutralize these counterbalancing forces, the moment you reduce the pride, the moment you bring yourself back to presence, to connect to who you truly are, instead of showing the world that you're something else, showing the world that you're okay, showing the world that everything's fine, showing the world that you're something you're not, that you're more than who you are. Then you start to neutralize your nervous system, you start to balance your nervous system, you start to relax inside yourself, and you can really be yourself and connect in humility with other people, connect with the realness of other people. Now the problem is there's too many people acting like someone they're not, trying to be someone they're not. And they're attracting circumstances and events in their life that limit and diminish them. And this is futile. You're not going to get ahead. You're not going to do, or you can get ahead being something you're not or someone you're not. But you're going to get to a point where you're not fulfilled, where you're unhappy, where you feel something's missing in your life. And you're going to beat yourself up. You're going to have burdens and layers of shame and guilt that you develop and carry over time because you're not being who you truly are. So if you'd like to know the method to support you to get back to who you truly are, to resolve these hidden consequences, these hidden effects that you might have created in your life, then follow along for more, because I can show you exactly how to resolve these unconscious burdens and these unconscious things that you might have created for yourself. My name is Matheos, and we're here to connect you to who you truly are.